Hey, Brett Schuhart here. Been working on a version of hangman or cliffhanger on the floor with blocks, and I think I finally got something that I like, so I'm going to show you my setup and see how this goes. I'll do this for 5 minutes. So I've been trying to figure out a way to get into this where I can actually get a good stretch without it being too intense. So a couple of options. I'm going to start with bricks in front of me. And my setup for this is you go like you're in a tabletop, and then you put the bricks just sort of on the outside of your hands, and then forearms, and then from here, just drop your hands back. And I'm also slowly sitting into my heels. And I'm getting a really good stretch between my shoulder blades. So this is how I did it before, except that I was completely lying on the floor. So next thing, the next option is just on the floor, which is really comfortable. And you can also do a headlock. So let's see here. Notice these are a little more than shoulder width apart. Elbows up, paired hands, head down. Now this is very intense for me, but it might be for you. If you find it available, then you can move your hands back. And now I've got my third eye, my pineal gland on the floor. This is a really nice stretch right here. So that's a good option. I don't feel much up here at all. I can do something like this, but really the hands in prayer pose and then drop your thumbs between your shoulder blades. And also you're going to get a bonus stretch under your arms right here. Now, the last version I want to try is like this. So same idea. Now, for this setup, it takes a little more effort and a little more, you have to go into this slowly. And this one I'm going to actually hold for 5 minutes. I haven't done this one for 5 minutes, so we'll see. I'll start, I'm going to give myself 10 seconds for setup, and that should be, yeah, let's mess up 15 seconds. Here we go. So this is a start, maybe a little bit wider than your shoulder, but notice I can push down on straight. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my knees just a little bit back from directly below my hips. I'm going to lower one forearm. Then I'm going to push with that elbow to get the weight off of this arm. That's an empty step for you Tai Chi folk. Elbow, hands in prayer. Now slide back my knees until I get a nice stretch in my armpits. Oh yeah, right there. And then just rest your, oh geez, this is actually really good up here. Right here. Now I'm going to try something as an experiment. I'm going to spread my knees in sort of a frog-like position because I want to lower my back a bit. Okay, there we go. That's better. Starting to feel a little bit of a tweak in my back. Now I could, if I really wanted to, push my knees further back and this extend this into a shoulder slash hip thing. Uh, I mean, I guess I'm trying things out. Why not? I don't know if that's a good idea, but let's find out. And it's going to be hard to actually slide them back. I need to slide my knees back. So I don't think I'm really set up to do that. But I may symmetrical right now. So I can get myself a little more symmetrical. I don't want to come out of this. Well, okay. So now I've got my hips opening up. My adductors, AE adductors on the inside, getting a nice stretch. Or Tai Chi folk, the inner quad. But now I've got a little bit of a torque in my lower back. Not probably my, I'm not sure exactly where, but it's not bad. But I don't want to sit here for minutes with that. Problem is, I don't know how to get out of this now without really disrupting the pose. And I can get out of it. So I'll do this. Oops, I almost lost it there. Okay, there we go, back in. So since we got a little time left, just remind you of the principles. Whatever you're trying to stretch, two different sets of things. Thing one is use a style of breathing 4 in, 8 out. So in for 4, out through your throat for 8. This helps to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system and calm you down. And that's another principle. Calm yourself through breath. 4-8 breathing, wet noodle. Calm yourself with your breath. And notice I'm here for 5 minutes. So this is passive tension over time. Also, it's about how it feels, not how it looks. I'm getting a really good stretch between my shoulder blades. My armpits are getting a good stretch. My lats, my hips are getting, maybe my quads are getting a little crunch there, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. In fact, if I let them relax and let my tailbone slide down, that's deepening the stretch between my shoulder blades actually, and also my arms. So really all I'm doing is I'm trying to relax my hip so it just sort of slides back. So based on how this post currently feels, I think it fits the effective. I think this is definitely progressive because I did a version of this on the carpet with the blocks on their sides. And then I moved up a little higher and up a little higher. So it's definitely progressive. And I think it's also accessible in the form of lower bricks to start and work your way up. This is not the same stretch as a cliffhanger exactly, but it's a pretty good analog. This is definitely something I feel would very much prepare me for hangman or cliffhanger if I'd never done it. Okay, there we go. Okay, now come on, this. Move your arms up away and then lift up with your hip. Now I'm just going to lock one elbow to the side and press. There we go. Uh, wow, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's a good version of cliffhanger or hangman because I'm getting a stretch here. I was getting a stretch a little bit on my lower back and certainly between the shoulder blades right here. So this is getting a really good stretch in there. I suspect that if you need some tension relief in your shoulders, this would be a really good pose. And that's a pretty accessible footwork. Also, I'm on carpet. If I were on a solid floor with a yoga mat, I'm sure it would actually be a lot easier because these would stick a lot more. So give this one a try. I think it's a good option for loosening up your shoulders. And we just saw 3 different forms of it. The other forms are against a wall. So I guess really quick, just to give you the other few forms. You can get away from the wall to it. This version, the final version, Kitty might help you with this. And again, it doesn't matter which version you do if you're getting a good stretch. I particularly like this final version. Something worth mentioning, deeper in this pose than I would normally I got right from the start. So the previous pose definitely is doing something analogous to this version. Careful in this pose. So much. It wasn't intended to stand for. This is one of my favorite poses in the original classic Science of Stretching. Oh, I can't really talk. So it's up too far in. That's a good rule of thumb. I can't maintain a regular conversation without being being obviously distressed. It might be too deep in the pose, which is counterproductive. Talking is counterproductive, really, but the idea is we're trying to down regulate ourselves. We're trying to stimulate our parasympathetic nervous system. If I go too deep, the response in my muscles, either my spines or somewhere near the nature of the stress, will cause me to tighten. So if I'm too deep, I'm actually going to be counterproductive. So right now I'm a little too, well, I think I finally managed to get back to a good place. Yeah, how long I've been in it, but oh, so wow. My resting tension is really turned off right now. My shoulders are just like completely stretched. But I've done now basically three versions of that pose for 15 minutes, so that's a bit much. I'm gonna call it. Have a good night.